Welcome to Escaping Purgatory, a podcast where we rewatch Supernatural, then talk it through in the hopes we can finally escape this show.
Join us each week and leave comments on upcoming episodes, and together we can escape Supernatural Purgatory.
Hey! This episode is all about finding Purgatory, not escaping it.
Hey! I thought this episode was all about Bam Chicka Wow Wow!
I mean, yes, kind of. So, okay. This episode, if Soulless Sam was like this for the entire time, that was really cool, right? The leader. I mean, Sam. We've always said Sam is a really good leader, but like this is much more like leading without feelings is kind of important.
Yeah, like it's kind of a leadership skill, you might say. Like it's required.
Yeah, and then like later on when he becomes leader, he does lead more with his feelings. It's still badass, but there was just something really badass about Sam in this episode. Dean was there.
he was there. Like, one thing I have to say about this episode is like it was just there was something about it was just so incredibly sexualized. Like every single line where they could like inject like a little bit of like that into it, they just went for it. And I'm like, considering what actually like happened in this episode, I'm like, why?
Yeah, and like it starts off strong with the Crowley and Crowley action,
right?
Like that's. I felt weird. I was like, am I supposed to be into this? Because like twins are not my thing. Twins are like, I've never understood twins. And I was like, but they're not technically twins, are they?
No, they're not technically twins. They're they're not clones. I don't know. It's weird, man. Yeah. I don't know. You'll see, like, I guess if we go through the episodes, you'll see. But like, seriously, every single like possible chance they get, it's very strange. I don't know. Maybe Supernatural is just like this. maybe I'm desensitized.
Well, so I guess it's also the way that some writers write them, because if you think of like Andrew Dabb, his version can be his leans more into like the immature.
Yeah.
I feel like we've had both of these writers before. So we're doing season 6, episode 10, Caged Heat. I read it Caged Heart like a long time ago, and I cannot get it out of my head that this is called Caged Heart, like HART. Yeah. And so I was just like, in my mind, this is always going to be Caged Heart. It's Caged Heat. And it's written by Brett Matthews and Jenny Klein. And I'm directed by Robert Singer, which I have to say, I was not just. I was disappointed that there wasn't any good zooms. I thought this one was a Crowley zoom.
Yeah, it didn't happen. Yeah,
but they're just better directors, like at least visually. Like I know we've said it before. I don't think we're very big fans of Robert Singer's directing style.
No.
But like there was something about this episode that felt incredibly flat while looking at it. Like even though it was like a really dark episode, there was nothing that looked like particularly bright. Like I think of a Phil Segrisha episode, and like the contrast in it and the lighting of their of Dean and everybody is just like really good. Whereas this one, I was just like, oh, it's just one big softbox in a room.
I've been watching the new series of The Boys, and most of that is directed by Phil Segrisha. And it's made me like appreciate him so much more. And you can also kind of see on that like where he kind of honed some of his skills in Supernatural, because like he knows how to film like a blood splatter, you know. Like,
yes, yeah, he does. Yeah. I know. I was wondering why Homelander looks so good in these like episodes. Yeah, it's because it's Phil Segrisha.
Exactly right. The lighting is on point. Like,
yeah. So yeah, I was a little disappointed that like for such a, but then again, you don't want to be distracted by how things look, because this episode is actually like super important. There's like a whole bunch of like plot points that happen. Samuel's motivation is super weak and I hate it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you actually. Like, because it kind of gets revealed in this episode, and you're like, okay, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like it should be more. Like he's holding back something more. And what I remember of the season, like he's not. Like this is it.
That is it. And it's just like, and his argumentation with Dean about like, okay, that was the best badass moment for Dean for this episode. Actually, was his confrontation with Samuel. But like, it was just you literally. I get it, right? Like you're back on Earth, you want your family back together, but you have your grandsons there, and you haven't made an effort to know your grandsons.
Yeah.
You've pushed them away. Like, yeah, okay, Sam is like this crazy super killer now, right? Robocop. Yeah. Like, you're never going to learn who Sam is that way. But you can still learn about Dean. And I know they've met in the past before and like bad stuff happened. But like, bringing Mary back is never going to be the answer. And it was just so funny hearing like how bringing Mary back is always like, bringing a family member back is never good. And then like, season 10, season 11, she comes back. And, like, it's all fine. But then again, it was God who did it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of fine, right? It was like, I agree. But like, I guess it's supposed to be kind of like holding up a mirror to Sam and Dean's deal. Right, I guess. And like even Dean knows that. Like he's very self-aware of it when he's talking to Samuel, and I do think that confrontation was good. But I guess you could say the same is true for them. Like ultimately, is the world worth saving your family for? Like that's the question that Supernatural asks, right?
Yeah. And
like when you look at it with a character that you're not as invested in, because like we don't know Mary, not really. And like we don't know Samuel very much. You're like, well, maybe it's not worth it. You know?
Yeah.
It's an interesting one. I think that was probably one of the better parts of this episode. I didn't mind this episode. Like I knew it was going to be plotty, and I forgot it had as many like familiar beats in it. You know, like this is a very gift episode. I feel like we get a little bit of everyone. And it has some really good cast moments, so like I'm always gonna like it.
Yeah, I mean, and it really did have everybody. Like Meg came back for the first time since like season 4, I think.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like that long, but it really has been.
Or is it season 5? Oh no, season 5 because she and Lucifer work together. So it's been a while. It's been a long time.
Yeah,
since we've seen Meg.
I just really appreciate, there's something about like Rachel Miner's like kind of breathy nonchalance that like I was watching something the other day and I was like, they should have cast Rachel Miner in this. You know, like it's like she would have been really good as it, like in this season or series or whatever I was watching. What was it? I can't remember. I think it's a new. There's a new season of Criminal Minds, and there's like a lady serial killer in the new thing. I'm not giving too much away in case people are still watching it because it's still on. And I was thinking, Rachel Miner would have killed this role actually.
I think that's what made it so sexual, actually, because everybody was like matching her tone.
Yeah.
She just has like a really good tone.
They do it, don't they? They do tone match. Just when like Crowley's on screen, everyone goes like 3 octaves lower and like. So when Rachel Miner's on the screen, like I'm being like super flirty. Everyone else goes super flirty too. That's so fun.
Can I just say, like, that kiss between them, Megan, Cass, like, I think that's every person. I don't care if you're male or female or in between. Like, that, you want that to happen at least one time in your lifetime.
Oh, come on. Is it, I dare say, the best kiss in Supernatural? I think it might be.
I think it might
be. It's the hands and the hair. Like, me as a woman, I am for the hands. Like, and that is.
I think we've talked about this before.
Everyone knows my kinks on this podcast. It's fine. It's fine.
Nobody needs to know mine. Anyway.
Best kiss in Supernatural. I'm calling it. I don't think anything can outdo that.
Nope.
No.
I agree.
No. Yeah.
So
let's get into this
okay.
episode because like otherwise we're just going to talk about that for like the next 90 minutes.
That's true. That's very true. So the recap is Meg from Abandon All Hope. For some reason it didn't click that because we saw her in it that like she would be in this episode. But I'm so glad that she was. And it was like her being thrown into the ring of holy oil fire with Cass.
That does objectively make this episode funnier because the last time Cass saw her, he like yeeted her into that fire, just like
and then walked over her.
The kiss and dismiss. That's what we we're gonna call it. There was that whole tease, and it was like shove. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he got to do it because he's probably been thinking about it.
Yeah. Don't know. Do you think Meg was like, do you know what? Getting thrown into the fire? That was kind of hot. That's so funny. Sorry.
And then we got like the thing all about alphas and how they're going to help Crowley find Purgatory, and the whole spiel at the end of that one episode where they capture the vampire. I can't remember the name of it right now, but that episode. And Crowley threatening the boys, saying that like, "You're my bitch now," and that was that. So we cut into the episode and Crowley is chained up and you're like, what? Why is Crowley chained up and all bloody? And then the real Crowley goes behind him and was like interrogating him.
Yeah.
And Crowley is still trying to find Purgatory and the alpha is just saying, look, Purgatory exists, yeah, but like I don't know where it is. All I know is like when I die, I go there. Crowley is not convinced and he pulls out this blade of iridium and like if it's so powerful that it can hurt an alpha, why do we never hear about it ever again?
Oh my goodness. Like, and also how did they discover it? This going through the periodic table, like let's try all the transition metals. Let me just Google how much iridium costs, because he was like, it cost me loads, and I'm thinking like it doesn't actually cost that much. Like in okay, let's have a chemistry lesson about iridium. It has a chemical symbol IR and it's considered the densest naturally occurring metal after osmium, so it probably is quite expensive, to be fair. It's found in meteorites, which is also kind of cool, and there's a unusually high abundance in the crater that they know killed the dinosaurs. So there you go. That
makes sense.
Yeah, that's your chemistry lesson for you. It probably is quite expensive because it's part of platinum like group. So yeah, so it probably did cost him a lot. I was thinking about it while he was saying how much trouble we had to go through to get this knife. I was like, is it that hard to get your hands on iridium? I feel like it's maybe not.
I mean, if you're a demon, like, why is it hard for you? Like, why did it cost you money to get this? You're a crossroads demon originally. Don't you just make deals?
Yeah, like trade with
so
someone.
You get like souls and like iridium for free. Like,
I mean, it may not be now, but we find out later that Crowley at some point owns the moon. So, you know, think there must be iridium on the moon, maybe.
Yeah, and like, I don't know. Like, demons are smoke. Can't they go into space and be fine? They're dead.
I feel like it's implied that angels and demons can go into space.
Yes. Why didn't we ever get that episode? Like,
Cass on the moon.
Cass on the moon. Abandoned on the moon and he doesn't know how to get home.
Yeah.
Because he's got memory loss or something. As Steve.
Yeah, as Steve.
He's on the moon.
Just like, how did I get here? Human Steve to the moon. So stupid.
Actually, wouldn't he die? Like, actually die because he has no grace. Anyway, I don't want to get into it. We'll go on this tangent and it'll be bad. So he stabs the guy in like the shoulder and he starts screaming. But then like that's it. Like nothing happens. I was just like, so you went into all that trouble and yeah, you hurt the guy, but like nothing. Like okay, this sounds awful,
right?
And I'm sorry to say this. But the torture in this episode, subpar. You're just stabbing people. And I mean, it's kind of implied that Meg's being stabbed in areas that knives should not be around. Yeah, I was just, I don't know, it was just stabbing. I mean, I've never been stabbed. I'm sure it's awful, but like, I don't know.
This is such a funny tangent. Like, the thing is though, like, you're kind of right, because there's this whole bit in this where Meg's going to Dean like, "Oh, we both trained under Alistair, like we know how to torture people," and they're all like, "Yeah, we got, you know, we're really good at it or whatever." And then you're right, like it is just like stabbing people. Whereas the like psychological, like
yeah, and like I mean, we'll get to it, but like when it becomes Meg's turn,
I don't know. It was weird. Like because they make maybe Alistair is just bad. Like maybe he's bad at his job.
Yeah, maybe. And like, oh, how awful would that be though? Like, Alistair's really not that good at his job, but like, Dean was too weak still.
Oh, you can't make this worse. We're already talking about subpar torture, which I feel like is a new low for us. You can't make this worse.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that doesn't work. Crowley gets frustrated and like he gets a baby monitor and like you can hear all these baby crying, and he says he's going to skin them all in front of this alpha because the alpha really cares for his children, and the alpha just turns around and says fine, kill them all, and then he like beheads him. So is Crowley just a bitch? Like is he not going to go through with his threat?
Like, well, who knows? He really has the babies. He could just be playing like YouTube baby sounds down a baby monitor. It could be an absolute bluff. That does seem very like, oh, you know, in character for Crowley. And so maybe when he couldn't follow up on his promise, he's like, well, I'll just behead you then.
I guess so. And then he makes a funny, well, it's not even a funny one-liner, it's just a one-liner, a dad joke, basically. He says,
"Guess I kind of lost my head."
He's beheaded himself.
So stupid.
Yeah, it was so big.
I love it because it's so stupid. Sam and Dean are dropping off another monster to some demons, presumably for Crowley. Like, that's how we come into the episode and see them. And like this one demon is just so good.
Amazing.
The best thing is like they don't kill him. So do you think this guy has like clout in hell? The things he said to them. Like,
I guess so.
This is what I mean about lines in this episode being like real sexual, because Dean asks where's Crowley and he says
banging a hooker in a sweet spot called none of your business.
Which is such I don't know why that was such a great line. You know, like they're kind of going back and forth, like, oh, look, he's trying to be funny, and he goes night girls, and like they try and get what Crowley's doing out of him. But again, this demon walks away unscathed. So I do feel like he relays this to his friends at like the Hell Bar. It's like, and then I said, night girls to the Winchesters. Oh.
I mean, though his last line is probably one of the best comebacks I have ever heard. And like, if I was snappy enough, I would try and use this in real life because it is just great.
Yeah.
It's probably like, yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, so they're asking about Crowley and he's like, is he going to keep sending up demons to pick up his laundry? And the demon says,
I'm sorry. I know you're speaking. I see your lips moving, but I can't understand what you're saying because I don't speak, little bitch.
So they drive off and Dean says, remember when we used to gank demons?
We do. Yes, we do.
So I mean, like, this guy is like, he's living off that for like the free drinks, the rest of his life.
Yeah.
His immortal life.
I stood up to the Dean Winchester.
Yeah, I called him a little bitch, guys. Like, I got away with it too. He didn't even stab me.
Didn't even go to stab me.
So Sam and Dean meet up in this like place they are staying, and Dean's really angry because like he just got, you know, burned, yeah, by this demon. And Sam's like, calm down. So he's complaining that they're doing all this stuff for Crowley and like it's not actually getting anywhere. And Sam's like, okay, we'll go with plan B. Oh wait, there isn't one, essentially. And if they want to get his soul back, they just got to keep playing the game. And Dean calls him out about, like, do you really want it back? This has been the kind of contentious issue for the last 2 or 3 episodes now. Like, does Sam actually want his soul? And Sam's like, well, I'm working for Crowley, aren't I? And, you know, they kind of discuss whether Crowley's going to actually do it. And they kind of do this camera thing where it, like, follows Dean, and he goes and gets himself a drink, and he's like...
Who says he's going to hold up his end, you know? It is Crowley.
And then he turns back, and Sam's just, like, gone.
He Batmaned him.
He did. He's just gone. And, like, I guess it's kind of fairly normal at this point that Sam disappears, because Dean's like, well, okay. He does go look for him, though. When he doesn't get an answer, he eventually draws his gun, and Sam is just unconscious. And then, you know, Dean also gets attacked by demons too. So they all had a really good day. Really good day for them.
The headache. The headache that they have at the end of this. The headache everybody has at the end of this. I'm pretty sure everybody gets knocked out.
Like, pretty much, yeah. So, yeah, they're tied up. And as Dean's like, well, what's happened? Sam says, I think I know who you can ask. And Meg appears. And we're like, yes, Meg, look at her. She's so fine. And yeah, there's... Dean and Meg have this whole thing. And I feel like it is... I don't know. Yeah, maybe later it's because of Cass. But, like, there is a thing between Dean and Meg. It's because she killed Joe.
Yeah, it is because she killed Joe, and like they try to force that relationship there, which was never going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And they only really mentioned it once. I feel like they would have been more mad at Meg for Ellen and Joe. Is this just water under the bridge at this point? Like, they forgive her. Not forgive, but like they get on her side.
They put it aside.
Yeah, pretty quickly. Yeah. So yeah, you know, they threaten to kill each other, etc., as they normally do. And ultimately it comes down to the fact that Meg wants to find Crowley. It makes sense.
I thought you were going to say something else for a second, just because I reread what happens. She says, officially the foreplay's over, satisfy me. And they said, event. I was like, whoa, no, she didn't say that. Like...
This is what I mean. Do you see what I mean about the lines this episode? The lines. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't really like explain this, but like, why would Meg want to like get one over on Crowley? But they were ultimately on opposite sides of the war.
Yeah.
On the apocalypse, and her side lost, right?
I wonder if she doesn't know the location of the cage. And so that's why she wants to get to Crowley to try and find the location of the cage as well.
It's that, and like,
or just kill him.
I also feel like she might rightly think that maybe she's in line for his job as well. You know, the fact she's not happy that he's in charge because she's now got no power in the like upper demon echelons kind of thing. So yeah, like, she says, I know for a fact you've been juggling Crowley's orphans. Like, now where is he? And they say they don't know. They don't care. Like, we don't know anything about Crowley. She, like, straddles Dean, which I don't know why. It's just... And she said...
I bet you an all-day sucker that's where His Majesty's hold up.
She holds up a knife to his throat. Yeah, then she says, okay, officially, like, foreplay's over. Satisfy me or please myself. And Sam just like laughs at her, which I just, he just went, ah!
That's not the reaction she wanted.
No,
Sam.
He's just like, you're right. Soulless Sam in this episode is hilarious. He's great, and he just fully like pushes everything forward. And he's kind of figured it out that she's bluffing. She's definitely not going to kill them because, you know, she's on the run from Crowley and she needs them to get to him, essentially. Because, yeah, what we're saying is right. Like, maybe, like, it says here that Crowley's wanting to hunt down all the Lucifer loyalists, which makes sense because, like, they still think that he should be in charge. And they would also all be looking to overthrow him and put their own person in charge. It's like the civil war in heaven that's going on. It's a similar thing in hell. So they agree essentially to work with her because they also want to kill Crowley. They've just kind of decided. I like that they went from, we're going to work with him to get Sam's soul, as to like, oh, an opportunity has arisen to maybe like kill him and get Sam's soul. So let's just do that instead. So Sam says, we'll hand you Crowley on one condition. We come with you and you help us get something out of him before you hack him to pieces. And, can you get us what we want? This is where Meg says, I apprenticed under Alistair in hell, just like your brother. And she turns to Dean and says, so Dean, can I make Crowley do whatever I want? And he's like, yeah. Like, all right, hold yourself in high esteem much, like both of you. Like,
yeah, right.
So they make a deal. And Dean says, you're going to untie us. And Meg says, please don't pretend you don't enjoy it before... Again, like, so she leaves and one of the other demons that she was with goes up to like cut Dean's things and he says, you're going to kiss me? There's just, I don't know. This is a very charged episode. Maybe I watched it at the wrong time in my like hormone cycle, but
maybe. No, you didn't. Honestly, like it was a very sexy episode for no reason. For
absolutely no reason. It's like gritty and kind of gross as well, like the setting. Like, I don't know, man. So of course then Sam and Dean have to talk about working with demons again, because that's what they do. They work for demons, then they agonize over working with demons, because that's this whole shtick.
Yep. And then they work with demons anyway.
Exactly. Guys, you're gonna do it anyway to stop feeling bad about it. Like it's just happening now.
Dean, you wanted to screw over Crowley. Merry Christmas.
Dean said, you want to work with a demon again? And literally this conversation, I feel like they just copy and paste it into every season.
Yeah. I mean, this conversation happened like 2 episodes ago as well.
It happened at the beginning of this episode about we're working with Crowley, we feel bad about it. Like,
that's true, yeah.
So, Sam says, we're working with demons now, I'm doing this because I want to stop. Dean does then raise the point, like we said, that Meg killed Ellen and Joe. And Sam's like, well, you can't look at this emotionally, which Sam, soulless, probably the good place to do that. And Dean rightly makes the point that the first chance Meg gets, like, she's going to screw them over. And Sam's like, well, we just got to be quicker than her to do the screwing over. And Sam's like, we're going to bring insurance.
Is Cass the insurance?
Cass is the insurance. That is the...
Okay, all right. It just took me a minute to be like, wait, what was the insurance? Like, what? Okay, yeah. So Sam's outside and he's trying to call Cass, and obviously Cass doesn't answer him because why would he?
Yeah.
They don't have a bond, right? Sam then recites the plot to Raiders of the Lost Ark. And Cass shows up and he's like, what? How did that even work?
Yeah.
And Cass tells him, like,
I'm mid-battle, Sam.
and to your point of like they don't care about what's happening in heaven.
Yeah.
Sam just turns around and says, like,
I could give a rat's ass about your little pissing match with Raphael.
and then Sam, like, remember in like school, like, there's tension between like you and a friend.
Yeah.
That you kind of don't want to talk about why there's tension in there anymore. And like eventually you just come to the point where you just have to like hash it out.
Yeah.
This is Sam hashing it out with Cass, and Cass just being like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Because Sam turns around and says, look, like, no, you listen. I don't care what you're dealing with up in heaven. You owe me. And like, he turns, well, okay, a little bit of an extreme. I don't think you're going to say this to like a former friend.
Yeah.
He does tell Cass that if he doesn't help, that he will hunt him down and kill him. I love this like line from Cass where he says,
Will you? Boy. How?
like, I generally don't like it when like characters or people are referred to as boy. I think it's really demeaning. But in this instance, I was just like, hell yeah, put him in this place. You're an angel of the Lord.
He's like millennia years old, big as the Chrysler building, and here's like some soulless hoot, like, what's it? Being like, I'm gonna kill you.
But Sam's comeback line is like, I don't know yet, but I will look until I find out, and I don't sleep. And Cass is like, you need help, Sam. It's like, I need your help. That's not the help that he's referring to.
No.
So Sam and Cass go into the house that they're like squatting in. And Dean's surprised that, you know, they actually showed. I feel like this episode has a lot of locations as well, but like not really. I don't know. It was very, very strange.
They go between like several places that we've already been to, so it feels like they don't really go anywhere at all, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And Sam says, no big, this is what friends do for each other. It's just like driving the knife in. So Cass is trying to do a location ritual to find Crowley, but it's not working. And then they decide to go, sorry.
That's right. That ritual must have been bullshit, right? Because Cass knows exactly where Crowley is. They're working together.
Yeah, I guess so.
He just did a whole pretend ritual for them, surely.
Yeah. Or he did it and like, he did it wrong. So like it's the right ingredients, but the wrong kind of spell. So like, because I'm pretty sure they use the same thing to locate other demons in the future.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, you're right.
This episode's really interesting for a rewatch when you watch some of the interactions between like Cass and Crowley, and you'll see when we get to like the monster prison, because like Crowley's like, what are you doing here? It's really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
So they go to their next source of information, Samuel, and they're asking him to help find where Crowley is, because obviously he's been dropping them off. He probably has a better connection with Crowley because he's been working like more directly for longer, for like a year. Samuel's like, well, I can't help you. And Dean's like, well, what do you mean? Like, what's wrong with you? You work for Crowley. And he asks Cass to leave. I don't know why he would ask Cass to leave. Maybe he thought it'd be like easier to have a family conversation, like it was a family meeting, right?
Cass isn't family yet. That's sad to me.
Not yet. Well, so at this point, because Bobby hasn't really been in this season that much. No. Like the idea, when blood comes up, blood becomes thicker than water.
Yes. And
then when blood betrays them, they go back to Bobby and like, family isn't blood.
Yeah, that is essentially Supernatural. It's like, blood is thicker than water unless, you know, it's not.
Dean says,
I just gotta know why. What is Crowley holding over you? You owe us that.
And this is where it's revealed that Mary is the reason why. Crowley is saying that he can bring Mary back from the dead.
Yeah.
So this is where I'm thinking like the reasoning is so baffling, because Samuel's like, you know the difference between us is that you know how to live without her. And Dean tries to sympathize, and Samuel shuts that down and says, no, you don't. She's my daughter. She's dead, and I can't do anything about it. It's like, Samuel's supposed to be this all-knowing, amazing hunter, better than John Winchester, this, that, and the other, and like he wants to do something so stupid.
It also doesn't like make sense, because Samuel died before Mary, like in right?
Yeah. Well before. Yeah, he got killed by Yellow Eyes.
So it's only because he's been resurrected that he wants her to come back to life too. But like, that's not how time works.
And also, there's no guarantee that you'll be around long enough,
right,
to like make up for time. And then what happens? Your daughter is now alive without her dad.
It always like, if Mary had died first, I feel like this would have been like a continuation of him like trying to find her or whatever, right? But it's not. Samuel died first. Like he has been in heaven without her. I don't know. It's just weird to me.
For over 30 years.
Like, you would expect to come back from this is such a stupid sentence. You'd expect to come back from the dead and like things to have changed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, he's got grown-ass grandsons.
Why doesn't he have this kind of passion for his wife?
Right.
Why is it his daughter that he wants back, not his wife?
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. It's just like, you think you think he'd want to like make sure that he can get back to heaven to be with his family, right? That I feel like that would almost be like a better motivation. And maybe it could have been that like Crowley is threatening to like cast him into
corrupt his
hell
soul,
so he can't go back and be with them. I feel like that's almost like a better motivation than like trying to bring Mary back to life for some reason.
Right. And like that your reason, like your reasoning is so much better, or your explanation is so much better, because Samuel was taken out of heaven.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was. So yeah, you threatened him by saying that you could never be with your family ever again. That was so stupid. And yeah, okay.
I don't get it. And you're right. He's got his living grandsons there. Dean of who is like basically a male carbon copy of Mary. Let's be real. Like in attitude and everything. Right. I know he's met him before, and kind of blames him. But still, like, I guess that's part of it, right? He blames them for Mary's death. That's partly why he can't get behind them.
Right. But and because it's his daughter, he can't like doesn't want to acknowledge that she made a mistake.
Yeah.
She was the one who made the deal. And like set everything into she didn't set everything into motion, because everything was being put into motion before that, but like she kicked off a lot of stuff that happened by making that deal.
Yeah, exactly.
It's also like Mary was 18-ish when he died. She would be almost 30 when she comes back. 18 to 30, very different ages.
Unrecognizable, you might say, yeah.
Like, she's not going to be like his little, I say quote, quote, his little girl. I know he never refers to her as that, but like, that's the kind of sentiment, isn't it? Like, you're the dad of a, But I'm just like, it's such a weak reason. Like, Mary's not being threatened in any kind of way.
She's supposedly in heaven as well. Like, did they not watch Buffy?
Right? Once more with feeling. Come on. So yes, Dean points out that like that you shouldn't do this. Like, don't go down that road. He's done it before. It never works out. Like, we're your grandsons. We're here, and we can like learn from our mistakes. Kind of like basically. Yeah. Well, he does say that. He says, "I'm asking you to learn from our mistakes."
Doing this is how the bad guy gets us every time. It's our Achilles heel. Apparently it runs in the family.
Then Samuel's just like, no, I can't do it. And Dean's like, fine, bring her back. But what are you going to tell her? You're going to tell her that you made a deal with a demon and that you wouldn't help her sons. Yeah. And that kind of gets under his skin. It's just like, because none of the Winchesters Campbell Winchesters react well when demon deals are involved, right?
And Dean is right.
Like when...
Yeah, it's exactly. And like Dean is right, he's saying like, you can bring her back, but like at what cost? She would hate you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So then it goes back to their room, and Cass is perplexed by what he's watching on TV, and he's like, it's very complicated.
The pizza man truly loves this babysitter. Why does he keep slapping her rear? Perhaps she's done something wrong.
And like the way that Sam and Dean just like look at him and like, you're watching porn? Why? He's like, it was there. Which is fair reason. Yeah. And then Dean says this line of,
you don't watch porn in a room full of dudes, and you don't talk about it.
This is categorically false.
You are doing the prayer hands, as am I, and I'm like, you are right.
If you've ever had a conversation with a guy, there will be a time where he has watched porn with other dudes in the room.
There's a time,
and they have talked about what is happening with the porn at the same time. Like, true.
Oh, I didn't even think about
I guess the difference is, the thing is, Sam and Dean have caught each other watching porn too. Because I was going to say the difference is that, like, obviously, if he's your brother, you're probably not going to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
but like, Cass isn't your brother, for one. And it's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's not true.
It's not true. Yeah, like, it's not true. Ask the men in your life. Don't actually, no, don't. You don't.
I mean, you can if you want.
You don't want to know,
but
yeah. Maybe I guess it would have been more shocking. Apart from that, like did an angel, like, why is he surprised? Aren't they supposed to be like watching humanity?
Do you think they're watching that closely though?
Some angels are. Cough, Gabriel.
Nah. I mean, he made one, right?
Yeah, right. I don't know. Yeah. This scene, like, it's such an iconic scene. First of all, okay. I guess it's just... it's interesting in the fact that, like, Cass is supposed to be like waging a war in heaven, and like he is instead
I didn't even think about that.
watching porn with the Winchesters, and like, it's just bad for optics, man. Like, how are you gonna get elected in heaven after this?
The human experience.
Yeah.
Also, I thought his vessel was supposed to be dead at this point.
Oh, don't...
So, why did his vessel have a reaction to the porn? Or was Cass the person having the reaction to the porn?
This just happens to guys sometimes. I don't know.
Sorry,
I have one more theory for this. Sorry, I know we keep talking about it a lot. I think they had to establish Cass as like a sexual being before the thing with Meg could happen.
I guess so.
I don't know, like, I just feel like they had to do this weird build-up. Or is it all just for that one-line joke that he makes as well? Like, was this
I mean, it could be. It could very well be that it was just for that one line.
Anyway, yeah, okay.
So there's a knock on the door and Samuel's there, and Samuel's like, why are you watching porn? And Cass says, I'm not supposed to talk about it.
Great.
And so Crowley then gives them the location of a prison, of where he tortures and interrogates the monsters that they've been capturing.
Yeah.
And it's very well guarded. Sam asks for Samuel to come along with them, and he says, I may be soft, but I'm not suicidal.
Mm-hmm.
So Meg and her gang are all there, like outside.
Mm-hmm.
This is now at nighttime or later on in the day, whatever. I don't know what they were sitting around waiting for. Like, were they just trying to research somewhere where they could go? Like,
They're just waiting for a night, I presume, because you do all these kinds of things at nighttime.
I guess so. So Meg says to Cass, like, remember me? I surely remember you, Clarence.
Why are we working with these abominations?
Keep talking dirty makes my meat suit all dewy.
So that, Meg's flirting with everybody.
Yeah.
She's demanding where Crowley is, and Sam's like, no, we're not going to give you the information. You're just going to leave us for dead. Like, you're just going to kill us. What I want from you is the knife.
Mm-hmm.
Like, give us a knife. And like, she's like, why would I give you that? I'm not going to trust you with that.
Did you 100% forget that Meg had the knife? Because I had forgotten that Meg had the knife, and I was like, the knife.
Yeah, I hadn't. Yeah. I did wonder why they haven't been using it, and I was like, oh, because they don't have it. So then Sam turns around and stabs one of the guys.
It's just
the guy who approached Dean and told him to kiss him.
Yeah.
Or asked if he was going to kiss him. And his reasoning is that that guy was going to screw us over because he was more interested in killing us than getting to Crowley.
You took this from us. I'm taking it back. We leave in 1 hour.
I have a little theory here about why Sam kills that demon. So Meg very much and they do this with a few female characters in Supernatural, but Meg's still at the extreme. Is she really weaponizes her sexuality, with all the flirting and the way she sits on people, and even the way she like kisses Cass in this episode. And she does that to like establish her like power in the group.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what Sam's doing is like essentially taking that power back by stabbing that demon. It's such like a I don't want to say like alpha move, but it is like, right, it's like, yeah, I'm in control here. I've taken the knife. I've stabbed one of your guys, and he's kind of like taking that back from her.
Control.
Yeah, the control. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting, and I think the way they write Meg is quite interesting as well. Like it's such a it's almost like it's such like a male fantasy of like a strong woman sometimes, but like I also do like I can appreciate why she does it. So I do like Meg as a character. I don't know. I thought it was interesting.
I think also with Meg, it's the tease.
Yeah.
Right? She never actually goes through with the full Monty.
Yeah.
Like with Dean in this episode, she sits on his lap and like even with Cass, like she wasn't expecting it to go that far.
Yes, exactly.
And just sort of, yeah, I can see that as being a power move, but not actually giving in. And that's where the like girl boss comes in.
Yeah, because she's ultimately
where she doesn't have
the control, right? Yeah, she keeps the control.
Yeah. Because she's not actually sleeping her way to the top because she's not actually doing anything. She's just promising to do something.
Exactly.
And men are so weak that it
But there are whole industries that absolutely make bank on that. So, it's a fair comment.
So we don't know where Sam's walked off to, but Dean is packing and Cass is in the room. Dean says, Cass, we could use your help. And he's like, I'm ambivalent about what you're attempting. Like, Cass is not being helpful in this episode. He's literally just there. He's like a tree. He's just like, yep.
He's there.
I'm not going to...
Under duress, right? Like, the thing is, like, also, like, I still don't fully understand, like, why is he there? Why is he there? Like, Sam's not actually going to kill him, first off.
No, he's not. But I guess it would be suspicious if he didn't help them.
Yeah, that's also true. Oh, goddamn.
So, yeah. He then goes on to say, like, he doesn't think it's wise to get Sam's soul back because it's been it's been tortured for over a year between Michael and Lucifer. Completely discounting that Adam's also in there with a soul, but okay.
That too.
So if they try to force the soul back into Sam, it could be catastrophic.
You mean he dies?
I mean, he doesn't. Paralysis, insanity, psychic pain so profound that he's locked inside himself for the rest of his life.
Dean is trying so hard to find like the silver lining.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, but there's nowhere saying that it's going to do that. He's like, no, but like it could. He's like, yeah, but it couldn't. It's basically, but it could, but it couldn't, but it could, but it couldn't.
You're
Like,
right.
Yeah. And then he's like, well, if he does come back broken, then you'll fix him. And Cass is like, well, I don't even know where to begin. And you'll figure it out. The guy's a freaking replicant. He needs his soul back, and we need to get it back. If there are complications, then we'll figure out a way to deal with those too. And Cass uses that same tone that he did the last time he was in an episode. He's just like, of course your problems take like precedent over everything else. Of course I'm gonna set aside everything for you. Like, ugh.
But also, like, I am though, like, it's...
Yeah, true.
There's an inevitability with Cass, like, at this point, you're right, he's, like, so done with them. He's like, why do they keep calling me? I have bigger stuff to go on. Like, they don't care about my problems. But he can't help himself but to help them. Like,
yeah,
he has to do it. It's like he's compelled to do it. It's that whole thing from that deleted line between... Oh no, it's Rowena that says it, isn't it? Sacrificing yourself at the altar of the Winchesters. can't be the delete of that line. That's such a good line. It explains so much about his character. Like, yeah, this is exactly what's happening.
Yeah, and it has been since he started to like Sam and Dean.
Yeah, you know, when he decided to basically go against orders, like he was, what is it they say about him? The moment you touched Dean in hell, you were lost. That,
something like that.
I should know the line. I should know it. But that's essentially Cass, and like, I like that he's aware of the inevitability of like things being worse because he helps them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He then finishes by saying, "Or we fail," and Sam suffers horrifically. And while they finish out this conversation, Sam's like being a creeper over eavesdropping in the dark. And he's like making his like hunting face. Is that kind of like the scowling pout?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair to Sam, they did see that guy who was a vessel for Raphael. Like, he was fully out of it. And I don't think Sam would want to be like that. Because at the moment, to him, he's fully functioning. Like, he's fine. Right? It's everyone else telling him that he needs a soul.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's one thing they don't bring up here. Like, if they get Sam's soul out of the cage, then maybe they have a chance of it also going to heaven. Like, Earth isn't the be-all, end-all. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they never pondered the question of like, what happens if Sam dies at this point?
That's so true.
Because he's just a body.
I'm so confused by this. I'm so confused.
We've gone on. We did a little thing of like Kingdom Hearts
yes,
and like nobodies and the whatever. But it was such a good analogy that I'm just like, what would happen?
Yeah.
I don't know, and I guess it's too complicated of a question for them to really dive into it, which is kind of annoying that they actually end up doing it again with Donatello.
Yeah, and Jack.
And well, Jack is kind of different though, because he like
he's got the whole
just because of
thing.
who he is, he's not human.
Yeah,
right.
You're right though, Donatello, the Ninja Turtle. No, you know, like. It does annoy me. It's almost like, look, soulless things are really complicated. Can you just not do it again?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it's just like I always think of the episode. I can't remember if it's season 7 or if it's this season. I think it's season 7, where Sam goes to a mental health hospital, an asylum, because he hasn't slept in like 3 days, and like Lucifer is being annoying and doesn't like let him sleep. And I'm just like, how pissed would you be as Sol? Like, because in my mind, I imagine Soulless Sam is sort of still there, like partly.
Yeah.
It's like, look, we didn't have to sleep for over a year, and look what they did to you.
I fully agree. Yeah, I think that Sam probably does always hear like a little bit of Soulless Sam in his head after this. Surely.
Or not.
I don't know. The guy has issues, man.
Or he just represses that, like, that voice.
Hard. Represses everything hard. And like,
True.
It's surprisingly functional despite the fact he does that. Unlike Dean.
Yeah.
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 Okay. So they're going to go break into this monster prison. And it's like weirdly quiet. Cass goes in and just says like, it's not like, meet me at the side door. And he goes to open the door for them because he's super angel strong. He's like, look at me, I'm so strong. They do.
This is the reason why you brought me.
Exactly that. They do make a comment that it all seems a bit too easy, like, you know, it might be a trap. They go through some cells where there are monsters, and they recognize the Jinn from the first episode of this season, the woman. And she's like pleading with them, like, you gotta let me out of here, even though she clearly recognizes who they are, knowing that they probably would murder her. She's still pleading to come out, and they don't let her out.
Nope. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't make a comment about like killing the neighbors, because they seem like wholesome people.
Yeah, like, oh, you got what you deserved or something. And maybe it's kind of obvious that she maybe is getting way more and above than what she deserved, you know?
Yeah, and also, I guess Dean's still not on board with torturing people really, so he's probably like, I don't really want to rub it in anymore.
Yeah, just don't see, don't hear, you know, see no evil, speak no evil, etc. So they keep going in this place. It looks like an abandoned hospital or something. It's probably in one of the places that they film abandoned hospital stuff. And Cassidy goes, wait. And they hear like barking in the distance, and it does like zoom to sort of little bit of turny zoom to Dean's face, and he's just like hellhounds, and like you can see the kind of fear in his face. They all run for the nearest doors, and they put down a salt line, and I was immediately like, that won't work. But luckily they're like, no. I immediately said, this is going to work for long. So I was like, okay, good. They remembered that salt doesn't work against hellhounds. So, you know, they mentioned that, of course, it was a trap. So Dean says, how many are there to Meg? And she's like, there's a lot. I'll be rooting for you from Cleveland. And she goes to like smoke out while they're shouting at her, like, I knew she was going to betray us, etc. So she tries. She does, and it's quite funny because she does the whole like mouth open, like arms wide kind of thing, and like nothing happens. She's literally confused. Cass mentions that like there's a spell that is locking everyone inside their bodies, presumably also him. I don't know. It could just be demons.
Probably just demons because he gets banished. So
that's very true. That is very true. Does the vessel stay attached? Does it just get launched through space when you get banished? Like what?
We've had this conversation. We have no idea.
They appear separately.
There are so many things that happen in Supernatural that we're like, sure,
it just happens, man. Dina, of course, says,
Karma's a bitch.
Love that. Love a double bitch. Sam, like, sort of takes out the knife, and Dean's like, well, what are you going to do with that? Like, you can't see hellhounds. Just sort of like flash at thin air. So Sam gives the knife back to Meg and says, like, look, you can see them. You hold off the hellhounds. And she tries to give it back, and she's like, no, but you need to go kill Crowley. And they have this sort of like back and forth with the knife. And she's like, I'll hold off the dogs. So she decides, I think this is the moment when they start to trust her more, where she gives the knife back to Sam and offers to do this, because like she knows she can't smoke out, but she won't actually die, right? She's just gonna get like real badly mauled by hellhounds.
Yeah, I mean her vessel will get destroyed.
That's true. She'll just sort of be like smoking about, like woo. I don't know what happens. She'd be trapped inside that. That's pretty harsh, you know.
Yeah, I guess you're right. She wouldn't die because she can't smoke out. So like her body would just get torn to shreds, but like stuck in part, like maybe she gets stuck in a foot. I don't know.
It's like a Deadpool situation. Like, you know, if they, like at what point are there going to be two Deadpools? You know, like how much piece is going to get ripped off? So Dean says, like, how are you going to do that? And then this is where Meg grabs Cass by the like collar, the lapel, and kisses him. Like they do show that she's clearly making a move, because she like puts her hand under his coat, but he spins her around and pushes her against the wall and like kisses her, you know, kisses her good and proper. What is it, that Mitski lyric? Give me one good movie kiss and I'll be all right. This is it. That's that movie kiss. Yeah. Oh
yeah.
Okay. And she's like, what was that? And Cassie says,
I learned that from the pizza man.
Ha, 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 ha.
Was that Cass's first kiss?
I think, yes.
No. And he did it with an abomination.
Oh, yeah. Like, I suppose, I don't know. Was it? But why? Right, okay. Because I don't, at this point, like, Cass and Meg don't have any, like, real affection for each other. They do later on, like, for sure. Was it just like this is what I think it's like, they're tying it together with the porn, and it's like, this is what you do in this situation. Cass is socially awkward, so when someone kisses him, he just copies what he's seen.
I would agree.
Yes.
Had it not been for Abandon All Hope, where it looks like they were going to kiss then, I think their vessels find each other attractive.
Ah, that's a good... Yeah, okay. There's some, like...
I know Steve is dead and whoever Meg was is probably also dead, but like instinctively, I think they just find each other attractive and just like it takes over for a second.
Yeah, I like that theory. I quite enjoy Meg Steele as a ship. Because I like the whole, like, angel demon thing. I mean, I like Good Omens, so, like, come on. You know. Yeah. But, like, I don't know. I just kind of like it because there's also, like, no reason for them to be, like, attracted to each other at all. Like, they don't act like... They are diametrically opposed in their goals.
Yeah, and, like, she is a Lucifer supporter.
Yeah.
Cass is not.
Unless it's just like a shared camaraderie of them both continuously getting pulled into the Winchester's bullshit. It's like, we're going through this together. We might as well make out.
Yeah. Is the last day on Earth, we might as well make out.
This is the whole thing. Yeah.
I do love how awkward, like, Sam and Dean are in the background. Like, you do know there's hellhounds outside. You guys are making out right now. This is precious time we do not have.
I love that they included them in the shot.
I know. Like, it was completely unnecessary. But it's just like, I wonder if they showed it to have, like, well, no, at this point, no. But, like, maybe later on, like, Dean being jealous, right?
This is the problem, right? This is the problem with Supernatural, is they, like, tried to make jokes. And then, like, they just came up as, like, a little gay because the joke is supposed to be, like, oh, my God, like, he's kissing a demon. What it looks like, because they're so close, it's like, I'm a bit jealous about this. Like, what's he doing? I don't know, right? Oh. Yeah. Yeah, anyway. It's fine. I love that they try... I don't know. I love Meg Steele. I'm not going to say anything more about it. Like, I just think it's so unnecessary. Like, there was just no reason for it. But, like, also...
And also, you also love a good tragedy, and it would never work.
It would never
right?
work.
It would never work.
It would never work, and that's what makes it so good.
Right. Like, Cass and Dean could have... It has the potential to work, because it's a human and an angel. Like, that's how Jack was born, right? But, like, this is it's never gonna work.
Also, like, it is always a bit better if it's, like, it's just a little bit tragic. That's why everyone ships Cass and Dean, right? Because they're continually pulled away from each other and then reunited. It's just like Outlander. Is it Outlander? Yeah, that show, that happens too.
Sure.
It's like, it's just got to be a little bit tragic. It can't be easy or it's not compelling.
Yep. I mean, look at all Greek and Roman, like, love stories. They're all tragic. All of them.
Everything. We like a bit of tragedy. It can't be straightforward. It's not romantic if it's straightforward. Where's the you have to rage against the system to be together, which, you know, again, Cass and Dean did. So anyway, yes. So Meg says, I feel so clean, which I enjoyed. And as she pulls away, like, she's stolen his angel blade. Like, it was all a ruse. Like I said, uses her sexuality for power. Yeah, that's why she needed that to help her. Dean does question whether it's going to work on Hellhound. She's like, well, I guess we find out. And they all run off while she prepares to fight the Hellhounds. They continue onwards, and it's real dark. But then Dean literally says, can't see Jack. And then suddenly there's, like, this massive white light and Cass is gone. And we turn around and there was Samuel with the banishing sigil. Absolute bastard. And he's like, Cass! Like, he can't hear you, man.
It looked different.
It did look different.
Like, it didn't have... It looked like a backwards 3.
Yeah.
Or did it look like a 3? Usually it's got, like, the triangle.
It's an N usually, right? Like
thing.
an N. Yeah, it did look different. But maybe, like, Samuel's just so good a hunter, he might know. I don't know. But it's fine.
He knows a different
one. Or Crowley taught him a different one.
Yeah, that's true.
So Dean's like, you sold us out. And some demons appeared. And he's like, damn you, Samuel. And then Crowley appears and he says, this is the best purchase I've made since Dick Cheney. It's a great line. So yeah, Dean's like,
Hey, Crowley. How's tricks?
Above your pay grade.
says, shame I'll have to do away with you both. I rather enjoyed your indentured servitude. So they end up in cells. Nice. I mean, Crowley's not stupid. They're in different cells.
Right. He's like the smartest demon that they've come across.
Exactly. Like all this kind of stuff that goes down, like again, I kind of forget all this happened when they're like friends with Crowley later on. I'm like, yeah, you've gone through some crap together, man. Like, yeah.
That's true.
So as they are thrown into cells, we see that Meg did manage to like kill all the hellhounds. She is badass with the angel blade. Mm-hmm. But then she gets ambushed by demon Christian Campbell, which I'm like, yeah, just he gets her essentially. Mm-hmm. We head back to Sam and Dean, and they're like, "You all right?" And Dean's like, "I'm standing in pee." And Sam says, "Consider yourself lucky." And it's like, ugh. Samuel comes up, and Dean's like, "If you want forgiveness, find a priest." I quite like that as well. And Samuel tries to get him, I just want to understand what's going on, and Dean has this like rant at him, which is quite good. He's like,
You talk about putting blood first, which is funny because you sound just like my dad. The difference is he actually did.
Dean.
That's a really bad comparison because essentially, John did put his sons first, and that's exactly what Samuel's doing. He's putting his kids first, like his kid first.
So he's doing a John. Yeah.
He is doing a John.
Yeah. And because Samuel does say that, I am putting blood first. Like, he's like, yeah, I am though. Mm-hmm. Like, he's like, Mary's my blood, my daughter. Don't come at me like I sold you out, Dean.
You sold out your own mother. It was her or Sam, and you chose Sam, plain and simple.
I don't get this line.
Because when he went back in time, right? Mm-hmm. Didn't the yellow-eyed demon, I can't remember his name now. I don't know why I can't remember it. Azazel, thank you. Basically, like, Dean could have stopped her making that deal, essentially, but he knows that it would have... Wait, no, I don't know. No, that doesn't make sense.
Because Mary made that deal to bring back John, so she would have done it anyway.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with Sam.
It's got nothing to do with that. Yeah, I know, you're right. When I watched this, I was like, it must have to do with the time travel thing, but then thinking back on it, like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, how was Dean supposed to save Mary over Sam? That was never going to happen. He was 4, first of all. And
yeah.
Secondly, like, there was no stopping those series of events, I feel.
And that was the whole point of Dean being sent back in time, was to show that it was inevitable.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. Okay, I agree, it doesn't make sense. If you know, listeners, why this makes sense, please let us know. Maybe are we missing something here? I feel like we might be.
Yeah, because like you sold out your mother. I'm trying to think the times where they've interacted with Mary, and it was in the beginning, or the other time travel one, which I can't remember the name of right now. But that was later on. Samuel was already dead. Is when she was a ghost.
Like, literally, Dean went back in time to be shown that it was inevitable, but also, like, he did try and stop it. Like, he did try. So,
yeah. I mean, and he knew that he couldn't come out and just say, like, hey, you're going to make a demon deal, and, like, you need to stop. You can't do it. Like, don't make the demon deal. But, like...
He did try and save her, though. He told her, like, don't go into that room as well.
Right. He did.
What was he expecting to do to stop for baby Dean to stop his mum having like another baby? Like,
right?
I don't know. I don't know what Samuel is expecting of Dean, and this is why he's kind of like John, right? Why is the expectation all on Dean to have saved Mary? It's actually ultimately not his problem, really.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Anyway. To be fair, Dean says, that is such crap. You want to know what really happened? You chose a demon over your own grandsons. Okay, so maybe Dean is like, maybe Samuel is misremembering what happened that we're supposed to pick up on that is crap. Because Dean is like, you chose a demon over your own grandsons with the whole Crowley thing. But like, that I don't know. Like, it's confusing me. I'm confused.
So I'm trying to. I might actually. No, I won't do that. But I was going to say maybe I'll go back to watch it in the beginning, because there must have been like at some point the demon kills Samuel and takes over his body. So that is probably the last thing that Samuel remembers is, and I think Dean was in the room.
So maybe that's why then he thinks that what's happened. I guess because of like being possessed and being killed, maybe he has a different view on what happened back then with Dean. Like maybe he feels like Dean should have just been like straight up front with everything that goes down, and then he could have protected Mary. I don't know. But again, I don't feel like it's his fault, whole step on a butterfly stuff.
No.
Samuel says, see it how you want. Like, I don't even know what Sam is, and you want me to protect him?
You're a stranger. No, really, tell me, what exactly are you supposed to be to me?
That's so harsh from family, man.
That is so hard. Yeah.
And it hurts Dean, because he threatens him, and he's like,
I'm the guy you never want to see again. Because I'll make it out of here, trust me. The next time you see me, I'll be there to kill you.
Yeah.
So I think some of the like hatred and like what exactly you're supposed to be to me. We know that Samuel didn't like John Winchester from that episode. Yeah. So I'm wondering if it's this like, you are not Campbells, you are Winchesters.
I think that's part of it.
So why should I care about you? Because you are not Mary's children, you're John's children. It's like, it was one and the same though.
And ultimately, it was John that got her killed. She made the deal to save him. Yeah. And then, they had children together. So they came for her soul or whatever it was. I don't know. It wasn't her soul, just to kill her. But ultimately it's all John's fault.
No, it's because she went into the room. It was literally just because she went into the room. She hadn't gone into the room. Then
Dean tried to stop that. Just like, I am rooting for him here. Like, come on, man. yeah. And like, the thing is, it's not even John's fault, is it? It turns out later that they were like fated to be together by angels, which is worse, I feel. It's just, everybody's fault. It's God's fault. That's the whole, again.
Yep.
Supernatural.
It's fate's fault, right?
Yeah, it's all fate, God's fault.
Yeah.
So like Sam's having a real good eavesdropping day because he also overhears this. So some demons are dragging Dean out after like Sam has held this whole conversation that they've had. We then cut to Meg, who is, we've seen this before with like the leather straps in things. Chosen places. So she's naked but not naked. Who else got tortured like that? Was it Meg again, but in the other vessel? No, it was Ruby. Right?
Yes,
it was Ruby.
You're right. Yep, it was Ruby.
I'm just saying, I just feel it's really unfair that they only torture the women in this way. Like, where's our like suggestive straps for all the men that ever get tortured? That's what I want to know.
No.
I think it has a purpose because I think it has like a demon trap like etched onto the leather, so it's like specifically a demon torturing device. I would suggest, but like also like why is it like that?
But if Meg can't smoke out because there's a spell in the building, maybe it hurts more. I don't know.
Also, they like have that prop, so like why not use it? It's establishing that like Crowley has this.
And it's specifically made for like a 5 foot something.
Exactly, right. Maybe her and Genevieve had like exactly the same height. So yeah, Christian the demon. I like that we call them the demon. Christian the demon. It's like Tom the demon. I miss Tom the demon. He's very dead.
Oh, he was in a scene. He was just in a scene.
So he said that he's here to torture her because Crowley wants to know everything. Doesn't necessarily say why. And Meg says, whatever makes you feel like a man. And like, he makes the point that like she's scared, but I mean, again, she also apprenticed under Alistair, so I feel like she's probably like, she's
experienced everything that he did.
Yeah, and she's tough as nails, as is Dean. So this Sam, like, what is this? So,
yeah, I know. I was like, what?
He's just like, so he goes into a cell and then he gets his wrist. He's like, ow, and like bites his wrist. This is the picture they use when people call Sam like a blood freak, and I'm like, I can't blame them. There's so many times in Supernatural where Sam is just covered in blood just around the mouth.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he is the one that should have got turned into a vampire, because like I feel like he would have struggled with it more because of previous problems.
Yeah, no, you're right. But then like it becomes somewhat unbelievable.
That's true.
That he wouldn't drink.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, he totally would just do it. Like, sorry Sam, you're a vampire now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's like nom 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 and getting some black blood. Dean is like sent into a room, and like they bring in these two guys, and like they find out later that they're ghouls, but they literally could just be any monster. I thought they were vampires at first, because like hungry vampires.
Yeah, I guess. I was just like, okay, a couple of dudes covered in blood. Like, they could be... I thought they might be demons as well.
Yeah, they're here to kill Dean. Like, you don't need to know where else.
Okay, I think I know, because they're probably brought in to dispose of all the bodies, because there's a whole bunch of, like, body parts and everything around, and they eat, obviously, corpses, so that's probably...
That's so true, yeah. So, like, yeah, num, num, num. Also... So then the demons go to get Sam, and he's being real monsterish. He's like crouched down, like, what did you do to my brother? And they're like, oh well, you know. And then as they walk in, they get like caught in this devil's trap, because Sam has drawn, there's like a whole huge devil's trap on the ceiling in his own blood. But like, I mean, he doesn't have to reach very far. He's very tall. I feel like it wasn't that hard.
Yeah, true.
But it's also quite impressive.
And it's just the way he turns and like smiles, and he's got blood all in his teeth. It's just like, oh,
Sam Winchester, a blood freak. Like that's his tagline. Like,
yeah.
Dean's fighting the ghouls, and he's just like, I hate ghouls. He hates everybody. You hate witches, man. You hate ghouls. You hate vampires. Like, who do you like?
He hates bodily. He doesn't like anybody. He likes humans. And
That's
angels.
true.
Barely. No, he likes humans. Yeah. And an angel. Just one.
Singular angel.
Well, maybe two. I think he likes Gabriel too. But he
did like Anna, but then he didn't know she was an angel. No, he did know she was an angel then. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
So yeah, Sam's running and he's like, Dean! That's basically the whole scene.
I kind of wish that like he would slip in the blood or something, but
it would be funny. So yeah, he saves Dean, because like the ghouls do get the drop on Dean. Like they're like nam nam nam, and he's trying to hold them off because he doesn't have a weapon or anything. And yeah, so Sam helps Dean kill the ghouls. Meg's still getting tortured a lot.
The camera angle for this was very, very weird, very suggestive. Like, because obviously they don't they only show her full body like one time, and the rest of the time is like kind of over the shoulder. So and then like Christian like ducks down.
Yeah,
and I think yeah, it was just like, where are you supposed to be stabbing her?
Yeah, like I said, like it's
which is where the like
yeah.
Like, are you stabbing her feet? Like,
basically, by again cheaping out on your special effects, it's just made it look worse than it was. I feel, yeah. Mm-hmm. She says, knock yourself out. This is just a host body. Some girl from I can't say that place. Sheboygan, moved to LA to be an actress. Probably not even the worst thing that ever happened to her, but just, and she screams as she's getting tortured, which is fair. But then she suddenly starts laughing.
What are you laughing at?
Dean Winchester's behind you.
It's just such a good line. So yeah, Dean stabs him in the back. It's a shame that she should have said the line before he stabbed him, but she didn't want to take the chance, just to be funny, you know? So they do. I like that they save Meg. I appreciate that. Like, she did offer to fight hellhounds for them, and they have repaid her now. I feel like they're even.
I think also they are relying on her to get the information that they want from Crowley. Like, she still has a purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
For them, and that's kind of it. Where Christian was like, because obviously it does show her body again. Actually, it shows it twice. Then, you can see where, like, this is where I was talking about the subpar torture, because you can see where he's been stabbing her, and it's just like one place here, one place there. Like, it's very like there's no method to it. I know that sounds awful, and I'm sorry, but it's just like, why are you just stabbing? Like, shouldn't you be like filleting or something?
Yeah, like, where's
filleting?
Look, on HBO Supernatural, it would be way worse. We wouldn't want to watch it. So I do kind of appreciate their like PG rated torture on Supernatural, because it's like most of the time, to be fair to them, it's like, we're going to torture you, punches them in the face. True.
But I mean, they do get creative later on when like Crowley does the whole like tapping into the angel radio with Alfie. That was
that's true. Why the sad little angel boys? Like, honestly, poor little Alfie.
I think his name was Alfie.
Yeah, you're right. Poor little Alfie. Yeah.
So Crowley, we see Crowley and he's walking towards the gin cell, and he's like,
Feeling chatty this morning, are we? You ready to tell me all about your daddy?
As he approaches her, like, she's terrified, clearly, because it's not good to be there. I thought that she went after Sam and Dean because they killed her father.
Yeah, I think he means her like daddy's daddy though, right? You know, like Alpha Jim.
Okay, yeah, true. Okay, not her actual dad, but like the dad of all Jim. Okay, yeah, makes sense. But then the fire alarm goes off, and he's like, "Hold that thought." And like, I thought the way that she was looking, I thought like Crowley would forget to lock the cell, and like she would escape. But no, he locks the cell back up after himself. Crowley then enters the room where Meg was being tortured, and he turns to Dean and is like, "You should be ghoul scat by now." It's rude. And then this is what I'm saying. Everybody gets like hit in the head in this episode, because Crowley gets knocked down by Sam like from behind, and he's like, "Really, was that necessary? I just had this dry cleaned." But then he finds himself in a devil's trap, and
So, to what do I owe the reach around?
Ravi.
Whore.
rude. She then says, "You know what? Okay, you know what?" And like clenches her fist, and he like spits up a bit of blood. And she says, "The best torturers never get their hands dirty. Sam wants to have a word with you." And Crowd's like, "What can I do for you, Sam?" Like, he's turned on his business charm. And he wants his soul back. And Meg's like, "Oh, I thought you just grew some balls." I was like, "No." Crowley then admits that he can't.
Can't or won't?
I say can't. I meant can't, you mop-headed lumberjack.
I love that so much.
I was lucky to get this much of you out. Going back in for the sloppy bits, no way. I'm good, but those two in there, forget it. Sam wants clarification, like, you know, how do I know that you're not lying? And he's like, "Well, you don't, but it doesn't change anything. And why do you even want it back?" Like, basically, again, confirm, like, saying that his soul's being tortured for a year. Like, it's just going to be...
I'd swallow a rag off a bathhouse floor before I took that soul. Unless you want to be a drooling mess.
Meg also agrees, saying, like, you know, that's probably what's going to happen. So Sam's sort of like, "Okay, that's fine. Right. I guess he's all yours," and turns to Meg. And Crowd's like, wait, that's all you're going to do? It's like, "You heard it's useless. He can't help." Dean then hands Meg the knife, and she says, "You're going to let me out afterwards?" And they say yes. So Meg says, "This is for Lucifer, you pompous little," and Crowley attacks her and gets a knife and throws it up into the double strap, which breaks it.
It was a cool move, but like, I feel like Meg should be slightly stronger. I don't know. There should have been a fight. There should have been a small fight.
At least, like, in this tiny little double
just
strap.
like a little like boxing
maybe
match kind of thing.
Cass then reappears and it tells them to like leave him alone. Crowley then says,
Castiel, haven't seen you all season.
and I was like, is he referring to the season or the season? You the cavalry now, and just sort of is calling out like what's happening in heaven, even though he's like losing the war, and he says that the whole affair makes Vietnam look like a roller derby.
What's in the gift bag?
You are.
Because he's found his bones.
Like, to be fair, we did say when this happened before, we were like, why don't they use this all the time? And then they did. But this is I feel like the second and last time they do ever use this.
This is true. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know actually. I feel like maybe they use this in the season finale. I'm gonna hold that thought. Maybe they do.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't remember. Cass then gets a final answer from Crowley asking if he can restore Sam's soul, and he can't. So Cass like incinerates the bones, and then Meg vanishes away. I love how like there's like a little note here in the transcript that says "Bye bye, which we know is not true. Which I'm like, oh, how did they get out of this one? I was like, oh, probably Cass is lying, and that's what's happening right here. It wasn't really the bones. It was like someone else's bones, and they did some magic.
This is it. Like, this is all a ruse. Like, this is what I mean on the rewatch. You're like, this is all a goddamn ruse. Cass is a dirty liar.
Such an elaborate ruse.
Yeah.
This is such an elaborate one too. Like, why go this far?
Why?
Maybe it's easier to do than like stabbing him, right? So that's probably
why the angel banishing sigil looked different. Because it didn't really banish Cass.
Oh,
or they did with like not so far.
Like it just put him outside the, like it was more of a teleportation. Whatever.
It's all part of the ruse. Because like Cass disappeared. Like when they were talking to Samuel, they were like, "Give us a minute," and he went. So how did they know? Like, I mean, now looking back at it, surely he went to go talk to Crowley about like what was going down, and say like, "Look, they're going to come for you. So what are we going to do?"
Yep.
Oh my goodness, the absolute levels of betrayal.
I know, that actually really hurts, right? Like, Sam and Dean truly believe at this point that Crowley's done, like, dead and done for, and, like, they don't have to ever worry about him again. No, you've still got, like, 4 seasons left of this dude.
He's going to be your bestie, Dean. Your bestie.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. I know. That was the one thing that kind of sucked about this particular episode on a rewatch, because we know that Crowley is not dead.
I think I found it shocking the first time I watched this. I was like, oh damn. Like, I liked him. He's a good character.
Yeah, so the day is saved. Everybody has gone their separate ways. Cass is gone, Crowley's gone, Meg is gone. So of course it's just left with Sam and Dean to like live with the repercussions of their decisions.
But there's so much that goes on before this. There's so much that goes on before that.
Huh?
Like they send Cass to go murder all those monsters.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Do you think he did it?
I do, and I think it's awful. I think he does. I think it turns out that he does. I'm sure he brings it back up to them when they're going through a whole, like, you know, I betrayed you confession thing.
I'm sure.
And he's like, you don't care about me, essentially.
But they're kind of right, though, right? Like, what else are you supposed to do with them? You can't let them go, because they're monsters.
But he's their friend, and they're like, just go murder this whole... Like, they don't even think about how it might affect him. Like, it's Sam that does it, to be fair. Like, he's the soulless one. So, you know, because Cass confesses to them that like it's not going well for him, and Dean's like,
Is there anything we can do?
There isn't. I wish circumstances were different. Much of the time, I'd rather be here.
like with you is an unspoken part of that, and Dean's.
Because this is easy, right?
Yeah, exactly. And Dean's like, well, you know, there's no need for apologies. Like, we're your friends. And Cass says to Sam, like, we'll find another way. And that's when he says, like, oh, you want to help?
Prison full of monsters. Can't just leave them. Can't let them go.
I understand.
Go and does it. I don't know. It was rough to watch. Knowing how, like, him and Sam are, like, best friends as well, like, later seasons. Again, there's a lot of forgiveness that went on there.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
I don't know. And it wasn't fun to watch. I was like, oh, damn, Cass. Like, you really are just... He's like that friend that, like, hangs around with the popular kids and they're just, like, mean to them. And they still keep, like, hanging around them. I think that's why I really feel for Cass in this season. Because, like, they're like, yeah, you're our buddy, you're our friend. Like, we'll do anything to help you out. And then they consistently don't help him out and also, like, bully him.
That's true. I mean, literally the beginning of this episode, Sam threatened to kill him if he didn't help.
Right? And if that's not bullying, I don't know what is.
Yeah. And then they, like, pressure him into killing all these people. I do wonder if there was, like, another time, like, I feel like it was against demons that Cass has usually just been like, okay, I'll wipe them off the face of the earth. But, like, that makes more sense. I don't know how much angels are really concerned with monsters, like ghouls and jinn and all that kind of stuff. I don't think they really, like, I don't think they really care. Like, I think back to the American Gods type episode with Lucifer, and Lucifer was, like, looking down on all of them.
But we know Cass is different. Like, he cares for humanity. Like, I feel like he's on a similar side of souled Sam. Of, like, there are grey areas and some of these monsters are, like, might have families or just be living, like, normal lives, you know? That kind of stuff. I do feel like he lives in that grey area too. I don't know. It was rough. And, like, also we know at this time that, like, Cass is having to kill, like, loads of angels in heaven.
Sure.
So he must be having an identity crisis of, like, what is this for? Like, what am I doing? Like, why am I having to kill all of these beings? Yeah.
Things all the time. Yeah.
There's just no way out for him.
I'm not the angel of death.
I don't know. I just really feel for Cass in this season, even though he's supposed to be the villain.
And again, when they're in purgatory, like, these monsters don't come after him. Like, surely that's what they would do. I mean, I guess the Leviathan are more important.
I can't remember. I think to a point, actually, I can't remember whether he kills them or not. I feel like this is a point there that comes up later, whether he does kill them or not.
We don't see it, so it's not an on-screen death, so it might not happen.
I feel like something it's pegging something in my brain. I guess we'll find out. It's fine. Yeah. But yeah, anyway.
So this is where, after Cass disappears, it's now just Sam and Dean. They're all alone. They're at the car, but there is no cooler feelings. But feelings will be hurt. Dean's like, you know, he's right. We'll figure something out about your soul, like something else about your soul.
You heard what Crowley said, and I heard what Cass said. Putting this thing back in would smash me to bits.
And again, Dean is like, oh, we don't know that for sure. I'm looking at the bright side, kind of thing. And Sam makes a really good point. He's like, you know what? When angels and demons agree on something, call me nuts, but I pay attention. Like, yeah, if these two very different types of beings can agree that putting a tortured soul by, like, two archangels into a body will destroy the, like, mind. How about you don't?
And, like, Meg agreed too, and, like, she never agrees with anything Crowley says. So, yeah.
Yeah, right. And Dean's like, well, you say this now after he practically died trying to...
Exactly. We almost got ourselves killed. I mean, how many times do we risk our asses for this?
Sam finally admits that he doesn't want it back, and that, like, you know, you obviously care, but I think it's time I go off by myself. Like, I think I'm better off without it. The thing is, they're both right, because Dean that says you're wrong, you know, you don't know how wrong you are. Like, yes, Sam is better off without his mangled soul, but like, he needs a soul because he's not a good person.
Right. Can they not just do like something like soul transplant? Is that not a thing in Supernatural? I feel like it should be.
I mean, that's possession.
Yeah, but like if Cass was able to eat other people's grace when he's out of grace, like I feel like they should be able to like give him like a little soul, just for a little conscience, you know? Just a little more.
From who?
You know, they take souls out of people all the time. Just go for it.
I guess so.
Who cares? They're trying to save each other. We know they don't care about other people's lives when they're trying to save each other. So, you know,
That's true.
I'm sure they'll get one from somewhere. And they'll like, they'll moralize their way out of it.
That's very true. That's very true. Sam then starts to walk away and says, I'm not sure about that. And so Dean then says,
Sam, don't walk away. Sam! Sam!
and then the episode ends. I'm surprised he doesn't call him Sammy, but I guess he's not injured, so that's probably
And he's
why.
not Sammy right now. Without his soul, who is Sammy?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was the episode. And like,
A lot happened.
A lot happened. There was so much going on in that one.
A lot happened.
So much plot.
Love Meg. More Meg. I want more Meg in this season. More Meg generally.
Yeah.
Just more.
Yeah, I agree.
When did she go blonde? I feel like she gets captured and they forcibly dye her hair. I feel like that's the thing that happens. She's like, I'm blonde now, and is like really angry about it.
I'm pretty sure it's in like later
I
seasons.
think it is as well.
Because I think Rachel Minor is actually naturally
Yeah,
blonde.
they just decided like, yeah, we're gonna stop dyeing her hair for this role, so it's fine.
Yeah.
They actually gave like an in-canon reason, which I also enjoyed. I think she gets like kidnapped by maybe Crowley, who like forcibly dyes her hair, but there's no real reason given, just for like the aesthetic. It's quite good. Yeah, I like this one. Like I said, it's a bit. Some of the lines in this are like, why? Like you can have a woman in an episode about being weird about it. Just generally for the whole vibe of the episode, they're like, oh no, there's a lady on set, just be normal. And then there's no one was.
Nobody was. We haven't seen a lady in months.
Absolutely years at this point.
That's kind of energy.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed this one more than I thought I would actually, because I think I was really down on it last episode. But I did enjoy it. It has a lot of like really good moments in it. And I feel like it's
and a lot of revelations.
Yeah, and it's really important to later episodes. I feel like this one is quite important in like The Man Who Would Be King, but I think I might be wrong. We'll see. I'm looking forward to the episode so much.
I mean, it would make sense that it would, just because of the nature of Crowley's and Cass's relationship at this point, and the fact that like Cass quote unquote killed Crowley.
Yeah,
like that can't be.
That'll have to come back up. It's not long now till the episode, to be fair. But yeah, definitely gonna look back on this one. It is much more interesting on a rewatch, I think, as well. I ultimately can't remember how Sam gets his soul back, and I don't know why I can't remember.
Really, that's the one thing I do remember from the season. It's death. He brings. His soul back.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
We actually find that.
Okay, fine. Okay, it's not even a big spoiler.
It's fine.
Yeah. So I think this one's a really good. I would rewatch this one definitely. I think it's needed for plot reasons.
I would. So I think what I'm gonna do is when we get to The Man Who Would Be King and we've recorded the episode, I think I'm actually gonna go back and watch this episode, just because like I truly don't remember the betrayal between.
Oh, I can't wait.
Like, which is like a massive plot point, and I don't know why I don't remember it, but anyway, it is what it is. I'm not getting all of the, like you're saying, there are looks between Cass and Crowley. That wasn't something that I registered, because I know it's coming, like I know it's a plot point, but like it's not as a bigger deal, because I don't remember how big of a deal it is. Does
It's
that
the
make sense?
biggest of deals. You just imagine that it's the biggest of deals, in my opinion. But yeah, we'll see. I can't wait. I can't wait for the material to come out now. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Because I remember being shocked when, like...
So I think the problem with this season, which is, I think is quite evident in how we both talk about it, there is a monster plot and an angel plot. I was more absorbed with the monster plot because I remembered Eve, I remembered the alphas, but I don't remember anything about the angels. You, I've always said that you preferred the angel plot, so you remember the betrayal, but not all of that. So like that is a very clear divide in this episode, in this season. That like it's kind of funny that we have like both of us have like the fact that I remember it was death that brought back Sam's soul. Like it's.
I don't know that at all.
It's so weird that like usually like we both kind of remember. Well, that's not true. You always remember what's happening in the season. I don't. But like I usually can catch up pretty quick. But for some reason, this part A-1, whatever you want to call it, for the angel side of the season, none of it. I was more, I guess, into the like monster hunting part of it for some reason.
I mean, I think it's kind of fun that's the case, to be honest.
yeah, me too. Because you get two different perspectives.
I think so. I do like the angel plot on this because I feel like it sets up so much for like their future relationship, like Cass's relationship with them. So much of it hinges on this season. I don't think season 6 otherwise is a good season. Like the monster plot is boring, but it does all tie in together, so it's necessary, you know. Yeah, I like this one. Yeah, I would definitely watch it again. What is the next episode, Annabelle?
The next one is Appointment with Samara.
Samara? I said Samara.
Samara.
Yeah. A place, maybe. A person?
No, it's a place. It is a place because there's an appointment in. So yes. Surprisingly written by Sarah Gamble and Robert Singer.
Okay.
I don't know. That to me sounds like rewrites by Robert Singer.
I guess it's a plot episode. It is a plot episode, so like, you just gotta have that oversight. Like, I know we always say written by, but I never imagined that like written by. I feel like they're the person who like pitched the idea, the main outline, but they all fill it in anyway. You know?
Yeah. It's a team of writers. Yeah. I don't really have anything else to say about this episode. I don't know.
No, I don't. I think we said it all. I think we said a lot actually. And like I think we
one of our longer episodes.
Yeah, I think we'll be coming back to it as well. So I don't want to say too much more about it, if that makes sense. At the end of this episode, I would like to thank the Pixel Agora for his wonderful logo art that we have on our Redbubble store as well. If you would like it as a pin or a coaster or a bag, I have a bag, very good, like the logo one, and it is very nice quality, I must say. It holds all my things. And if you would like to follow us and chat about this episode and fill in all the missing plot points that me and Annabelle have been talking about because you're like, oh my God, how did I remember that this happened? You can follow us on most social media. We're on Tumblr and Facebook, Instagram, etc. as Escaping Purgatory Podcast, or on Twitter it's just Escaping Podcast. So yeah, come say hi and like get annoyed at us. Not too annoyed, like friendly annoyed is fine.
So, this week we came across a prison of monsters. And we didn't like it because everybody was getting tortured, but not in a good way. Hopefully next week we'll find a way out.
Bye. Tortured in a good way.